Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking with Talent. Today, I have Cinthya Klein with me, all the way from, well, actually, you're in London now, but
Yes.
you've just come all the way from Buenos Aires in
Yeah,
Argentina.
exactly.
So welcome to the UK. This is your last day
Thank you.
of quarantining for then you're out, so you can explore a bit within reason because it's 2020, But yeah,
Yeah,
Cinthya is an actor, and you actually trained over in America before moving to
exactly.
England. And if I'm not mistaken, you've
Yeah.
actually only moved to England this year, but we'll get onto that in a little bit later. To
Okay.
start with, how was what spurred you on to follow the dream of acting?
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, actually, when I was very young in kindergarten, in my kindergarten school in Argentina, I I started doing acting. Like my school had acting classes, and I remember I loved it. I really enjoyed it. But like I never when I was young, I never thought of it like a career.
Mhm.
Um, my dad is a engineer, and he always thought that other careers were, more important. So when I came home from kindergarten, I never like kept acting or playing. But when I was going to my friends' houses, I remember this one friend, she had all these costumes, and we would like get all the costumes on and like do whatever like came to our mind, like improv, improv, improv all the time. So that's how I mean my love got started. Then I stopped because yeah, everything going on in my house never led to me having a perception that, this could be something. And yeah, it was until older that I regained like the passion and started going to acting classes again.
Right. And then from
Yeah.
there, you actually went over to LA and started to study. How was, well, first of all, even not on an acting level, how was the experience moving from Argentina to Los Angeles? How did it differentiate in what you expected? Or was it what you expected?
That's a great question. Expectation versus reality.
Yeah.
You know when you Google like images, like maybe a place you want to go and see, and then you actually go to the place. It's not very similar. I mean, I started in Argentina going to method acting classes, and yeah, I fell in love with it. I really did. I was following already Lee Strasberg's method of acting.
Okay.
There, I found an English coach and started taking classes. But at the same time, I was finishing my degree in business management for my parents because they were like obliging me to finish that, which is crazy. Um, and when I got my degree, I told my parents, like, look, here is the degree. Now I want to go study acting. But
Yeah.
what, this and that? And I was like, and where do I want to go? So at first I was thinking of going to apply to RADA Drama Centre London here in London. And then I was like, but I'm really enjoying Lee Strasberg method of acting. So why don't I just go to the source? And so I started looking up at the Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute in LA. When I got to the school, I was so nervous
Mm.
because it was really going from, you know, going to classes where, I don't know, you're learning math, statistics, like financial econometrics, like nobody's really like very social, you just go sit in the class and like learn and then study your books at home. And then I went to this school, and I remember so well, like the first day, like the introduction, I stayed, I think, 8 hours at the
Right.
school just talking with people after like the director giving us the introduction and like meeting some of the teachers, and a lot of the students, we then stayed there and just chatted, like, what brings you here? What are you doing here? What's your story? Did it meet my expectations?
Okay.
I think in some ways it furthered my expectations.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think I've learned more about the human condition that I've ever learned in my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very weird because in one moment I went back home to visit my family, and I was hyper aware of everything going on around me, you know? It's you become very sensorially available.
Okay.
And you start to live life in a way that everything affects you. Everything, you're in environments that totally affect you. What somebody says, like, you keep thinking, wait, if you were a character, like, if you say that, what's your objective? You know, you start to.
Okay.
And I think that really was good for my work. But me as Cinthya, like a human being, I really needed to learn how to start and stop that.
Yeah.
Because it was not very healthy.
Mm. So I've heard very mixed things about LA and how the media likes to show us it as this incredible lifestyle, as this beautiful place. But I've also heard that when you get there, it's kind of dingy, for want of a better word. The sort of strip and the beaches are beautiful, but you go one block around the corner and, you know, it's really like unkept, and it's quite run down and that sort of thing. Is that the case, or have I heard biased views? Or
Look, yeah, I mean, in every city, the thing with LA is that prices of property have increased so much that there's a lot of people who can't afford that and are living on the streets.
Right.
And it's really horrible that, you know, the politicians there aren't doing a lot about it, especially now in these times. I mean, I think I idealized LA a lot, you know? Exactly what you say about the media and life there, and, you know, actors going there. And I think what's beautiful from that city is that, so, like, you take an Uber, you go to a cafe, a restaurant, or I don't know, you go to a supermarket. Everywhere, working everywhere is trying to be an actor or a writer or get into producing. And I think I've never felt myself in such a good environment where everybody was trying, you know, be supportive and like be in this same community of creative people trying to make it in that city. It's really an empowering feeling. If you go for an audition, there's going to be so many people, you know, in that, like, trying to go for the same audition because everybody's trying to do the same as you are. So it really comes down to like really getting prepared and trying to do your best. And I think something I've really learned from LA is that if you've been rejected from an audition, don't take it personally, because there's so many actors and like maybe you don't, you know, go with what they're looking for. And that's okay.
Well, that's exactly actually our last interview with Duncan Burt. We were talking about that. If you can, and we were saying, if you can get in the room for the audition, you're good enough to get the part. And it's very much a case of it could be down to your eye color. And so it's important not to take it not to take it to heart, because they wouldn't have wasted their time if they didn't think you had the chance to get that part. Like, they wouldn't have invited you. So you can always take that as a sort of positive, if you will.
You know what? This reminds me so much. I had my first proper audition there, and I was going in for an independent movie, like for the lead actress. and they needed someone with an accent. I have like this South American accent. And I got down to the last audition, and then they told me like, no, we liked what you did. That's why you're here, but unfortunately we're looking for another how do you say, characteristics, because it was
Sure.
written like, the character had to have certain characteristics. But the first one, like that, when you get to the end, man,
Yeah.
oh my God, I started crying. I was crying. I couldn't understand. Like,
How was well, your time at Lee Strasberg? Were you there for 3 years, or was it 1 or 2?
no, I did the conservatory, and I did it in
Mhm.
1 year.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it was intense.
Yeah, I bet.
It was really intense. I think I never expected it to be that intense. Um, but you know what? Like, I really learned that every teacher has their way of doing things,
Yes. Yeah.
and that you should respect that and learn from that, but still look for your own way, your own craft. How do you do things so that it works for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not follow a recipe that is given to you. Like, I am that person. I come from, I'm an engineer's daughter. Like, my dad is like full on like the manual guy. You have to do step one, step two, step three.
Sure.
And like,
Okay.
I have a little bit of that. But really, that school took that away from me, and that's good, because I really studied Lee Strasberg book, and I was like, okay, first I have to do this, then this, then this. Like,
Yeah.
first read the whole script, then like, okay, reread, reread, reread. Then, okay, what did oh, I don't know what he said on the book. And I started feeling that it wasn't working.
Hmm.
I started feeling that I was getting worse and worse on that, because I started being a lot in my head
Yeah.
instead of connected with my body, mind, heart. I studied a lot. I rehearsed a lot at home, and I was able to get a scholarship, because these schools in America are very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I at the same time, that was, I think, I've never felt more good with myself for winning that, winning something nowadays. I was so happy.
Yeah.
But that allowed me to stay really in the school, because in Argentina there was a lot of economical problems going on, which is it's usual. We're used to it. And yeah, I was able to take so many more classes, like TV and film with Sharon Angela. She is a great teacher. We used to sometimes she would be like, okay, find a newspaper article
Mhm.
where someone has killed someone, and then research the killer, and then you will make up a character based on that.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, great. Isn't it lovely, like, through acting we can really, like, sometimes not be ourselves. I don't know, I would never do that, but you get to, like, become that character, um and start empathizing with those people, like, why do they do what they do and everything,
Mm.
and then make up this character. And yeah, we really learned how to, like, how do you say, be coercive with everything we were learning about method, about acting, then trying to write our own characters, and making up these monologues and dialogues, while also learning how to, how important the camera is as well, and how much you're gonna show to the camera, on like what angle, what are you gonna do.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think there were certain classes that I'm always gonna take with me. And that school has really marked me because it's you know, it's like the first school, first like really proper, like intensive, like almost, 12 hours a day school
Yeah,
that I went
yeah.
to. And that really, really, you learn from that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds fantastic. I think it's certainly a very different experience, as we had Josie was saying on our first interview. It's a very different style of teaching to perhaps it is here. But I find you, as you said, you pick up things from certain teachers, and some things that you just say will pass by you because it doesn't work for you. And I think that is
Yeah,
the beauty of going to train somewhere, whether it's a university, a drama school, a conservatoire, whatever. If you've got a selection of teachers all trying to impart their wisdom to you, obviously some things will stick, some things won't. But I think having that sort of melting pot of information and picking out the bits which work for you is the best part of it. Do you have any movies that your sort of go-to movies to relight that fire? Because we all dip at points. We all have times when we're unmotivated, and let's face it, certainly this year we've all been stuck inside. We've all tried to
yeah.
be creative where we can be, and we'll circle back to that in a bit. But is there any sort of film that you go, right, to light the fire? I'm going to put on this film. And also, is there a certain actor or director that does that for you as well, and really gets the sort of motivation back and gets you going again?
Oh my God, my favorite movie in the whole wide world is, I have two though,
Mm,
Testament of Youth and Sweet Frances. Testament of Youth, I love Alicia Vikander's work.
yeah.
She's my favorite actress of all time. Um, she really is so connected with her emotionality, and it's such, it's so pure, man.
Mm,
There is this other movie she did, The Light Between Oceans, where she has a miscarriage. And that scene,
mm,
I know it's horrible, like horrible moments, like, movies about Second World War, and, they're not very happy movies, but they really re-inspire me in like, what is the act of crafting?
mm.
Like putting yourself in how do you say? Imagine, I can't speak, imaginary circumstances,
Uh-huh.
and like being truthful to the
Uh,
story, to your character, to everything that they went through. And when I see that in action and so truthfully, like that really makes me, that burning going again inside of me. I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
love her work. And Michelle Williams as well. Like, she's so good, so
yeah.
good.
She's fantastic. And now, depends how you say this. I say Ex Machina, but I've heard people say Ex Machina. I'm pretty certain it's Ex Machina though, from the director saying it. But regardless, her work in that freaked me out. I left the cinema and turned off my phone. I was like, I can't be near technology right now. I need a break. But
Oh,
her characterization of Ava, I think it is, or Eva.
yeah,
Is just incredible, and at no point do you question that she's not a robot, but is, but then isn't, because obviously it's the Turing test, trying to figure out if
yeah.
humans can. Anyway, see the film; it's great. But yeah, that's a very good answer though. She is fantastic in everything that I've seen her in. So obviously we've got loads of people on the show coming up, people from who are just starting out. As you said, you're new to London, and you
Yeah.
finished training a few years back. But I think the point is to get people who are just
Months.
starting out months back. It's fine. But it's to get people who are just starting out, and also people who have been doing it for a long time, and everywhere in between. But do you have any advice for anyone up and coming, anyone who's in their teenage years? That came out weird. They're teenagers and they're considering going into acting, and certainly with everything that's going on, any sort of words of encouragement or advice, whether it's advice about America, whether it's advice about London or the UK?
Great. So I think what I will say is this. To you watching this, if you don't know, even if you want to be an actor, you don't know what you want to be in life, which is common for me. It took a lot of time because in my family where I grew up, yeah, art was not maybe respected as it is in other countries. Go out and try things. Don't
Yeah.
expect to know what you want to do when you're 17.
Mm.
Like, give yourself a break. Go and look. Okay, maybe I want to try this, try this, try this. Go look up courses or like free classes somewhere and go and see if you like it or not.
Yeah.
To people that know that want to pursue acting, find a reason why you want to pursue acting. And I'm looking straight into the camera. This reason has to be really powerful that will keep you going.
Now, speaking of, I guess the creative thing, and with 2020 being such a, how to put this politely, being that year.
Polite. That was polite.
Yeah. With it being this year, what has there been anything that you have learned from being in lockdown? Because you actually were in lockdown back in Argentina, weren't you? And so is there anything as a human being, as an actor, that has taught you from this year? Anything that's taught you anything?
I think I've never been more patient in my life.
Fair enough.
I think also that when bad things happen, because in life, good things happen, bad things happen. It's life, when your heart rate is on the machine, it goes up and down, and that means you're alive. If it is like this, you're dead. If it goes like this, that's life. But if bad things happen, I'm like, this doesn't matter. Like we are going through something that is gonna remain in history. And I think it's just be patient that things will get better, and be hopeful and see the light in the, how do you say, in the last of the tunnel.
Yeah, end of the tunnel. Light at the end of the tunnel.
End of the tunnel. And yeah, I mean, quarantine in Argentina has been a lot different than in London.
So finally, if you had your pick of a role, like you could choose whatever role, like what's your dream part?
Mate, what's my dream part? Oh, so many ideas coming to my head. Look, I love romance. I really do. I love romantic movies, but Testament of Youth is a romantic movie, but there's so many things, like so many challenges for the actor. In also, there's a really good character arc. I mean, I would love a character to be learning a lot of things, to maybe having a hard time, a good time, highs and lows, being maybe very dramatic, suspenseful, but then
Someone's making
really
a list. Cool. Okay.
I don't know. Something like Testament of Youth and Sud Frances, I would love. I mean, yeah, romantic dramas. I really like them.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's gooder answer as any. But thank you so much for joining me today on Talking with Talent. It's been lovely talking with you, Cinthya. And your tag will be at the top there. So everyone check out Cinthya's page. She's new to London, so drop her a hello. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled for future work that as we get back on our feet, you'll be getting back up on the feet with us, I guess. Anyway, again, thank you so much, guys. Everybody out there, stay safe and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.